selamat malam.
Konbanwa, soy. Konbanwa, soy.
Konbanwa, selamat malam, good evening semuanya. Selamat datang selamat datang lagi kembali sih. Selamat datang di stream Mirai dan Hani-chan. Kita kembali bersama Hani-chan. Yeay.
Konbanwa, soy. Konbanwa,
Nah,
Mirai.
soy teh nani. Soy teh nani. Soy itu apa?
Gak tahu pokoknya. Kan anime aku mah wibu jadi ikut-ikutan aja. Konbanwa, soy.
Naruhodo ne. Selamat malam, halo Rani, halo Jordan, halo Hiro sama datang. Selamat malam, selamat datang. Jadi hari ini kita mau lanjutin Otome game yang minggu lalu yang judulnya Steam Prison. Minggu lalu kita sampai mana ya?
Sampai
Mau misi
ketemu
yang
si Tanto.
oh iya yang itu ya, sama mau misi itu ya.
Iya.
Satu hari sebelum yang kejadian ngebunuh orang tuanya ya. Masih ada satu hari
Iya.
lagi.
Kita baru belum beres-beres itu.
Iya, belum beres-beres itu doang, astaga. Gitulah, main Otome game tuh panjang gitu tuh ceritanya. Oh halo, siapa Jeko Takayuki, halo selamat datang. Jadi satu Haji Maroka, ayo kita langsung mulai aja ya. BTW
Hai.
Mirai hari ini agak baru sariawan jadi aneh guys sih mas nih Hani-chan.
Hai. Watashi mo.
Nande dame-san. Ya udahlah.
Watashi mo sariawan desu.
Itu sih mas sariawan deh. Ya udahlah, sebisanya kita aja lah ya. Alright, dimulai. Nah, dozo baca Hani Tistellanya lagi.
Oh iya, watashi.
Iya kan Anda.
Watashi wa Hani Tistella desu. Aku retweet dulu bentar ini biar pada nonton.
Yeah.
Hai. What is this place?
Oh, halo, selamat malam Haidar, selamat datang. What is this place?
Hello.
The hallway went on and on. At the end of it was a door. When we opened it, an incredible sight lay before us. The weather outside the temple was sunny, but the light coming through the stained glass windows was murky, making the room quite dark. The silence was oppressive, and I was uncomfortably conscious of my own breathing. Dozo.
Is this the station?
I ventured a few steps inside. Looking around, I was expecting to see a guide or employee, but there was nobody.
How do we get from here to the death? Queen, do you have any
いえ、
Oh,
さっ
sorry.
ぱり乗り物と言っていましたけど、馬はいないようですね。
Ya, aku mendengarkan.
Akhirnya ya.
Yang kemarin kepo suaranya.
Kegedean gak suara Vinnya tapi?
Aku kecilin.
Oke deh.
Cukup. Hai, no.
Sok.
Yeah, it doesn't smell of livestock in here. Maybe they are bringing a carriage.
Oh, ada Delina. Hani-chan, ada Delina. Selamat malam Delina. Halo.
Wah, Delina Krish.
Dozo.
We still have a bit of time. Let's wait on that sofa over there.
Doku sofa nei. A red envelope lay on the sofa.
Did someone forget this? It has our names on it. Hani Tistella. And fill your class?
I turned the letter over. There was no sender only the temple seal.
俺たち宛てのようですね。
What a terrible system. What if we miss noticing it?
Tuh katanya suara kitanya jadi kekecilan karena si Vinnya kayaknya kegedean. Atau kitanya aja gedein.
Oh,
Nggak ada, kayaknya Vinnya yang harus dikecilin setomatnya deh.
oh, kita kekecilan. Coba.
Soalnya Vinnya tuh full.
Pokoknya kemarin gitu ya full ya.
Tapi ini aku masih pakai pengaturan yang minggu lalu kok buat suara kitanya juga.
Iya makanya kenapa? suaranya agak kekecilan. Oke, aku yang gedein ya.
Oh, Haruna. Ih, Hani namanya bukan Haruna.
Ayo,
Hani.
似てたです。
ハニーちゃんだよ。
似てたんだよ。What a terrible system.
Udah itu tadi.
What if we misnotice it?
I glanced around again. We really were completely alone. I broke the seal. There were 2 letters inside, each folded once.
They seem to be identical. Here, take one. If you search instruction, oh, I see. It's a manual.
Oh.
そのようですね。本書は下界と我が国をつなぐリフトの搭乗規則を記したものである。なお、便宜上我が国を上界とする。
Apa turun ke bawahnya pakai lift gitu? Do you go to?
当リフトの運用の主な目的は下界への受刑者移送である。部外者の搭乗は固く禁じているため注意されたし、当リフトの運行時間は以下の通りである。上界から下界への移送は原則日ごとあるが、上界への移送は不定期である。緊急時及び非常時を除き、リフトは定められた時間にのみ発着する。遅刻は自己責任とし、新会員は一切の責任を負わない。時間の厳守を心がけられたし。
Kalau kita telat ditinggalin sama liftnya. Ted, kebayang kalau yang tukang ngaret teh udah we. Dozo.
If we miss the right back, we're stuck in the depth, huh?
そのようですね。戻ってこられないなんて絶対に嫌です。長いしないよう気をつけましょう。
はい、気をつけましょう。Finn gave a nod and put the letter back into the envelope. He stashed the envelope in his pocket.
So where does promise live?
It's almost.
It's
Uy,
almost
apa tuh?
time.
Nani. Startled by the vibration, I jumped up. I didn't have a chance to do anything else before the floor in the center of the room rose up. Oh, itu liftnya yang ini.
Ah.
Soka.
Hai.
Oh.
Ooh.
Kakoi.
What is that?
As if by magic, the floor was rising into the air. A tube came into view below it, made of what looked like a glass engraved with complex symbols. Ah.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Lagunya berubah juga, nani. Finn didn't seem to know any more than I did, staring dumbfounded at the bright light.
It doesn't look like a weapon, but
あ、近づいては。
I'm just going to take a look. We have to find out it is a weapon.
I slowly approached the light, keeping my hand on my sword hilt.
What is this? Is it glass?
I reached out. A little chime rang and the bright object parted sideways where I touched it. Opanto. A current of air blew out, ruffling my hair.
Perhaps this is it.
リフトでしょうか。
Oh, okay. Finn was thinking along the same lines.
This is very strange. There's no horse or ox.
Mochirong desho.
How does it move us to the depth? Then
わかりません。でもこれで移動するのだとしたら入らないわけにはいけませんね。
Masuk. Finn's expression was extremely hesitant. He was just as uncertain about this object as I was.
I wish that at least written leaf on it somewhere.
There was no discernible writing on it anywhere I could see.
We can't just stand around here. You're right. We need to enter.
There was still a chance that it was dangerous, so I had to make a decision.
Should I go first? Or should Finn?
Ayo lo. Mau duluan, Vin duluan atau bareng?
Kemarin tuh kita milih apa ya? Lupa.
Lupa aku juga yang kemarin-kemarin.
Sepertinya kita going together saja lah.
Bener. Gak boleh disperse. Gitu.
Together.
Together ya, together.
We don't have time to think.
Kenapa Delina? Kenapa emotnya begitu? According to the instruction letters, the departure was imminent.
Sudah ini mah nggak jelas.
Gaskan together.
We'll investigate together. Come on, Vin.
Yeah, together.
はい。何も起こらないといいのですが。
いいよ。きっと大丈夫かも。かも。The space inside could fit 3 or 4 people comfortably. It was completely empty. There wasn't even any dust.
So, what are we supposed to do now? The door.
Why? The glass door closed again and the floor began to tremble as we descended the light dimmed until it was gone completely.
Is the lift?
Being moved by the vibrating mechanism was very unsettling. Kenapa Vin jangan muntah? Skariste. Vin was in obvious discomfort. He covered his mouth with his hand. Vin mabok kendaraan.
Don't throw up. I don't want you to throw up in this tiny space.
分かっています。でも。
Eventually, the vibration stopped and the glass door slid open. Outside, we saw. Oh.
Korewa.
Ikinari Korewa. I was speechless when murmured something about a room.
I don't see any horse. It's just cramped little space. How is? Whoa!
Chikai. The ground jolted. I grabbed instinctively at Finn's uniform to steady myself. Oh.
大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。
I'm fine. Calm down, Finn. I'm the one who needs to calm down.
Calm down, honey. Calm down, honey.
Deg-degan sama Finn.
Aduh, mau nikah kamu tuh inget ya?
Oh ya lupa mau nikah sama Lord.
Yeah.
Lord Figures
I let go of Finn's uniform and did my best to compose myself. Kepada para penumpang jurusan.
Kok ada tuh? What is this?
When the shaking stopped, a voice spoke to us. Finn and I looked around, but we were the only ones present. Kepada para penumpang jurusan DEP, silahkan memasuki.
Jurusan Depok.
Iya, Hani-chan wedding dress kostum ikut gak? Iya, aku menunggu. Ayo Hani-chan komis kayak pakai.
Wedding dress, no.
Kalau Hani-chan yang pakai wedding dress, aku bersedia jadi groomnya.
Mira.
Yay.
No.
Nande, kawaii-chan. Dozo.
Is it over?
The room had no windows. I had no idea what the outside looked like. I had my share of apprehension, but it was too late to turn back now. I guess we should do as the voice said and sit down. Chikai te kono hito nande? Finn sat down on the seat opposite to me.
どこに連れて行かれるんでしょうね。
さあ。どうぞ。
The deaf, obviously.
Finn gave me a short look, blushed, and looked away. Ngeblush kai.
そうでした
Ingat mau nikah nih, Chan
す
ingat.
みません。非現実的なことの連続で。
sympathize.
Gitu banget ketuanya.
The deaf art was loud, very fit to be used as a penal colony. Kok penal? Penal colony. I never expected to be sent there without committing a crime. This is an important experience. Let's get as much as we can out of it.
Aku lupa misi mereka apa sih ke Dev tuh.
Lupa ya.
We nodded in agreement. I couldn't think of anything else to chat about. The
Ingatnya
rumble of the
nikah aja.
leaf. Build the kite. Iya sih, soalnya kayak berkesan banget gitu ya, dia mau nikah tapi ya begini.
Iya. I wonder if I should be saying something.
Sitting in silence with Finn didn't bother me at all, but still.
What would be a good topic?
Finn cleared his throat, offering a timid attempt at conversation.
あなたはどうして警察官になろうと思ったんですか？
Aduh, ikinari banget pertanyaannya. Awkward banget.
That's out of the blue.
すみません。警察官にならなければ下界へ行くことはなかっただろうなと考えていたら少し気になって。試験制度があるとはいえ女性の活躍は難しい職です。なのにどうしてこの道を進もうと思ったんですか？
Tuh, kenapa Hani-chan? Kenapa kamu jadi polisi? Kenapa nggak jadi profesor aja?
Tapi aku emang cita-citaku ingin jadi polwan.
So nanda.
Cocok. It's a long story. Do you still want to hear it? Cita-citaku ingin jadi polwan.
俺好きなの。
なんで？
あ、人の話を聞くのがってことです。
Hani Tistella.
はい。
Alright, then I'll tell you. As I'm sure you know, the Tistellas have been politicians for generations. My grandfather was a politician with a very strong sense of justice. He was often criticized, but the people liked him.
Beneran ngedongeng dong.
He used to help those in need wherever he could. I really admired that.
Catat Hani-chan kostum polwan. Ikuzo, berarti schedule-nya tuh yang pertama wedding dress, terus yang polwan. Yata, tanoshimi. Dulu?
But I'm too impatient and impulsive. I wanted to be like my grandfather, but I just wasn't able to picture myself as a politician. Then something happened when I was 13. I can't find it.
It was the day after my 13th birthday. My gift from my mother had been abandoned. It was a family heirloom. I should have put it away for safekeeping. Instead, I'd been so happy that I'd worn it everywhere. I'd been very careful and yet somehow I still managed to lose it. Alah. To make matters worse, I had no idea where it might have happened. Ikujo. Dozo.
What should I do?
I could never tell my parents I lost dependent within a day. I spent a long time searching.
This is where I noticed it was gone. I hope I can find it here.
Oh, agak gulu-gulu ya, bentar. Were you looking for over there? I turned around and saw a large man. his large frame loom over me, I shook my head.
It doesn't concern you.
Of course it does. It's almost night. You have to go home. That's all.
I can't.
Wih, dekat. Why not?
Because I haven't found it yet.
What are you looking for? Where's your home? I'll walk you there.
I'm fine. Why? But now I still have to be look for it.
I know if my parents saw a police officer escort me home, however, they'd be suspicious. If they found out about the lost pendant, I was sure to be in the trouble.
Tomorrow I'll look for it again. Tomorrow.
When I got home, my mother remarked on my lateness. We had dinner together. It was all my favorite dishes. But I felt so incredibly sad about losing something so important to the family, and so I didn't enjoy a single mouthful. When we had finished eating, I went to my room and sat down on my bed.
I want it to be tomorrow already.
The next day I would be able to look for it again. Despite my best efforts to fall asleep, I remained wide awake.
What do I do if I don't find it? They told me it was important to us.
The pain and sadness in my heart seemed to crush me. Later, deciding sleep was impossible, I crept out of the house.
I just need a little longer.
Even if I never found it, I needed to know. I tried as hard as I could. So dark.
It's so dark, and
I was alone in town. It was very quiet. I felt like someone was watching me from the shadows. A cold shiver ran up my spine.
I'll be fine. Nobody's there. I'll be fine.
I repeated that like a mantra to myself and searched. You again.
Huh?
It was the same police officer from earlier. I froze, paralyzed by the sight of the person I least wanted to see. Your parent must be worried about their child being out at a later hour. He told me to go home and reached towards me. I told him I was fine and sweated his hand aside with a glare.
They don't know I'm here.
That's no excuse for doing something dangerous.
Please leave me alone. I can't go home until I find it.
You haven't found what you're searching for? I nodded.
I need to find it.
Otherwise, my parents will be sad. I couldn't say the words. My throat burned. My nose was stinging. I could feel the tears start to well.
I never meant to make them sad.
I hated myself for crying in front of a man I didn't know, but I couldn't hold it back. I stared at the ground, weeping at my eyes in the hopes I could hide my sorrow. It seemed to be something very important to you. I nodded vigorously, unable to speak. Perhaps it's this? Oh. Dapat siji.
This my.
Kau Mitai. Pengen lihat mukanya. I'm glad it's yours. I hope that from the moment I found it, if it was yours, then I didn't need to worry.
What?
Yeah, because once she had it, you'd go home, right?
I'm very sorry.
Don't worry about it anymore. Where do you live? I'll walk you to the area. Oh, yatta.
Thank you very much.
If it's important to you, then lose it again.
I won't.
The house was dark. My parents hadn't realized.
Mr. Police Officer, are you hungry?
Hungry?
Yes. My father always tells me people. Like
Iya. Ini apa internetnya merah?
internet.
Iya, merah.
Aplikasinya di close ya.
Pada di kos kok.
Oh. My father bought me chocolate yesterday. I'll give it to you. Please wait here.
Oh, don't worry about it. Always faithful, serving the people is my job as an officer. I don't need anything.
But
You don't want them to find out you're gone, right? Go inside.
okay, thank you.
Hai, arigato. Oh, jadi dia termotivasi gitu ya karena itu. Ya.
Alasan gara-gara ingin bantu orang kayaknya. Atau nyari cincin orang.
Gak gitu, gak gitu.
Until that day, I always saw police officers as people who just walk around the city. It really changed my view of them. I wanted to become an officer just like him. It's all that said your curiosity. Kok sate sih?
はいありがとうございました
Sate. Lapar, Hani-chan.
itu sate. You're welcome. Strange. We've been partners for 2 years. Yeah, I've never told you that story until now.
ええ貴重な話を聞けてよかったです
Hai, hai.
It's just an old memory, nothing precious. On the other hand, it's precious.
それは先ほどの話の
Yes, this is the pendant my mother gave me. The Tistella heirloom.
Dibawa-bawa.
I'm always careful to keep from losing it now. You've never told me why you become an illustrator. Do you want
お待たせしました。下界へ到着です。
お待たせしました。
お忘れ物のないようご注意ください。
ganggu
ご
aja
利用
diganggu.
ありがとうございました。
Diganggu sama teteh-teteh lift.
You heard? You'll have to tell me another time.
はい喜んでと言っても大した話じゃないんですけどね
Alah.
うん。
Iya.
うん。
ええ
Alas,
いい
ngeragain bantu orang kayaknya.
ええ
Atau nyari ciciin orang. expect epic amounts of drama and lamentation.
Drama. Hani suka drama.
Kamu suka drama.
There was a flight of stairs which I walked down carefully. I didn't want to stumble. I see. Oh, a damp smell permeated the air.
These are the death.
Rusted machinery and uneven pillars surrounded us. Through the pillars, I could see a plain, all gray-brown. Beyond the plain were buildings.
俺が想像していたのと全然違います。
You were thinking it would be more savage?
犯罪者が送られる先ですから、もっとこう牢屋みたいなところかと。
Same here, but it's all into open, not enclosed. It seems more like uncharted territory than a jail.
それはこの場所だけですよ。
誰
誰が?
Ada orang. Dare? Oh,
And you are?
ハウンズのリーダー、ザクセン・ブランデン
padinya
ブル
pada
です。
lempar.
ようこそ最果ての極へ。
Sasen Brandon Hounds?
Namanya susah-susah.
新会員から視察者を案内しろという通達を受け参上しました。
From the temple? Hah? Ada yang ngasih tahu?
I retrieved my letter and read through it again.
Hounds? It doesn't mention that.
当然です。上界の上品な方々は知る必要のない組織ですので。我々ハウンズの主な仕事は上界から送られた罪人の取り締まりおよび管理、いわゆる監視役です。
なるほど。
メンバーは私を含め全員が上界出身、警察官と同じく新会員が管轄している部署の一つです。警戒は不要ですよ。
I see, but third session presented exteriors and show no hostility.
Still something just...
I couldn't pinpoint the cause of my unease, so I shook my head.
I don't understand the nature of your organization. The Hounds? No! Still, you know nothing about this place. We are staying on alert. Anything might happen. Don't drop your guard, Finn.
わかりました。
勇ましいですね。女性ながら警察官になるだけのことは。
I may be a woman, huh?
Tidak, ini hanya kedok.
I'm flamboyant.
The condensation was nothing new for me, but it still made me square my shoulders and straighten my back.
I'm Hani Tistella, a rank 1 temple police officer. This is Vinu class, same rank. We have come here as part of our promotion examination. Thank you for being our guide. Oh, emang promosi ya?
Dewa
Iya,
ikimasu.
lupa.
Oh.
Third session turned on his heel, setting off with quiet steps. Finn and I follow him side by side. We walk towards a large building visible in the distance. I assume it was our destination.
The death, we are surrounded by a wall here. It's like in the hay.
Wall apa ini Maria?
Oh, your wall for you. Is that?
近いっ
どうしてました。
Okay, boys. Behind us in the wall there. Isn't that an exit?
I paused, pointing in the direction of the distant wall. It surrounded the city on all sides except for the place that looked like an opening.
あれは視察と関係ありません。
なんで教えてよ、キチ。
What is it?
あなたの任務には
What is it?
一切関係のない場所です。
教えてよ。
この下界にはお嬢様には物珍しいものがたくさんあるでしょうが、任務でいらしたのであればつまらない興味は捨てることです。下級警察官。
Bisa aja dong.
Talk you, Jaga.
Most of what he said was reasonable.
I don't like being addressed sarcastically like that, but it is right. Apologize, Sir Assassin. I let curiosity get the better of me.
Cakep katanya Delina yang tadi Sensation.
Oh, kamu sukanya Sir Assassin ya? Bukan aku lagi, oke.
Belum semua ini, jangan sabar.
Sabar.
Finn was giving me a readable look and I apologized to him as well.
It's part of my duties. I have to focus on the mission.
It took about an hour of walking to reach our destination. Sejauh apa jalan kaki 1 jam? Kuat ya kakinya.
1 jam.
It was a large
Atas lagi.
building. It had been built in an impressive architectural style and was the same shape as the dark clouds behind it. There was a large cross I didn't recognize emblazoned on it, which I assumed belonged to the hounds.
I see. This must be where you keep the criminals.
Sir Sassen laughed audibly.
これは収容施設ではなくハウンズの本部です。
Headquarters? Apologize.
お気になさらず
Penjaranya.
華やかな新会員に勤められている警察官殿にとっては罪人を放り込むにしてもみすぼらしい建造物でしょう。
Ada apa sih Bapak, ada masalah apa? Kenapa dari tadi sarkas terus?
Galak. Sorry. I didn't.
上階とは勝手が違いますが、この施設は上階の建造物を模しています。我ら底辺たる存在にも下界の者どもとは違うという誇りがあります。
Delina bener jatuh cinta sama Sir Sassen.
先ほども申し上げた通り、新会員と比べればゴミでしょうね。
Tuh dari tadi nada bicara aja juga. Nani, dostano.
中へ入る前に罪人の居住地へ案内します。ついてきてください。
Hai. Doko desu ka?
あの方感じ悪いですね。俺たちのことをよく思っていないようです。
It's my fault. I insulted him and his comrade. Things are very from here, but hey, I need to take more care with how I speak.
ここが罪人の収容場所、通称保護地区です。
Huh? Sanctuary district?
I considered Sir Sassen's word as I looked around.
ここに住む者たちは皆もともとは上界の人間です。そしてこの保護地区を囲む壁の外には下界の者どもが暮らす集落がありまして、彼らは上界の者を忌み嫌っています。
Walls? Like the one we saw from the station?
Hani-chan, chotok koe ga chisai.
Hah?
Suaranya Hani-chan agak kecil deh.
ええ、
Kecil?
奴らは野蛮で大変手を焼いています。滅せられればいいのですが、虫のように多く。ですからこうやって罪人をここに集めて住まわせ、我々ハウンズが保護してやっているのです。罪深いとはいえど元は上界の人間ですから。
Matanya tajam menembus kokoroku. I see. Oke deh Lina.
Alay lo.
Alay, that alay.
I'm very surprised to see no cell or prisons.
I looked at the buildings around me. It was simply a decrepit village. The people weren't chained or shackled. There wasn't any restriction on their movements.
まるで小さな町ですね。罪人を自由にさせて危険などはないんですか？
Apakah nggak cukup mereka dibuang ke sini, Vin? Hani, mending harus dipenjara,
あ
kasihan.
りませんね。奴らは脅威とは程遠いガラクタです。もしも逆らうようなことがあって
Di-
Oh, hai.
この剣を持って処分する。ただそれだけのことです。
Eh. Blade. Sir Shahzan put a hand on the hilt of his sword and gave us a wild grin. Eh.
Suppose,
I ignored the cruel choice of words, looking around at the sanctuary district again.
Stealing must be where they live.
It didn't look like a livable area to me at all. The sky was the color of ash, everything was damp and everything smelled. The people were emaciated and looked at me with heavy eyes.
I know that I couldn't live here.
There were no prison cells, but the prisoners were monitored and controlled.
引き返したいところですが、ついでですので、この先にある位置へ案内します。
Malah jadi tour.
Alright.
Wish.
Alright.
Dare dosta no?
What?
Kaki da chikai. Something crashed into me. I turned and saw a boy sitting on the ground. He had fallen on his rump.
Are you alright?
Boy.
Boy?
ごめんなさい。前を見てなくて。
Kawaii.
Kawaii.
I told him it was dangerous to be unaware of his surroundings and held out my hand.
Kawaii.
Kawaii.
Be careful that it doesn't happen again.
うん。ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。
Anechan. Arigato. The boy took my hand and stood up. Then he bowed and thanked me again.
驚いた。こんなに幼い子がいるなんて。
罪人らが作ったガキですよ。汚らわしい。
Bisa aja dong, Pak. Nani.
Hah?
Apa diapain? Bapak gak boleh. Sir Shahzan drew his sword and sliced the flesh of the boy's arm. Contoh kata tadi.
What?
Nani Tistella, Sir Shahzan?
上界の者に危害を加えた罰です。
Betsni yo. Itu dia tidak melukai kita sama sekali, Bapak. Astagfirullah. Istighfar. Sir Shahzan, what are you doing?
被害？ただぶつかっただけですよ。
Dozo.
I was warned. It's the injury. Please have your breath. You're bleeding, are you okay?
Senggol bacok sama bocah, katanya Ruisa. Iya, kasihan tangannya. Daijoubu desu ka? I took out my uniform first aid kit and treated the boy's cut.
何をやっているんですか。
Bulpung dong.
罪を犯した者は罰する。それが我々の仕事だという。
Ya, tapi nggak gitu juga, Pak.
This didn't call for your sport. Besides, he's just a boy.
年齢など関係ありません。罪人は厳しく、等しく取り締まるのが我々のしきたり。ここではハウンズがルールです。立てつくようなことはなさらないでください。下級警察官。
Ya, kan aku yang ditabraknya, kenapa? Udahlah. Salah.
おいクソガキ、二度と走るな。その足も立ってやる。
Udah sih.
やだ
Sir Sazen was their warden. If their law called for this punishment, then he was in the right.
Still can't let this pass.
Hani?
おや、俺に剣を向ける
Ayo berantem. Jojo.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's my job to protect the weak. I can't overlook this conduct.
と言ったでしょう。ここではハウンズがルールだと。ご自分の立場というものを分かっていないようですね。
I understand it perfectly well. I serve the people of the hate. I have no authority here. I'm following my own code of justice. It demands I protect the weak. If you stand in the way of the god, I will use my sword against you.
Ayo berantem kalian. Tuhan menciptakan dua tangan untuk baku hantam. Ayo.
Gelut.
Gelut. Ketawa dia.
気を使ってへりくだってやったというのに、この俺に逆らうとはバカな女だ。
バカな女だ。あら。
下級警察官殿に最後の忠告だ。剣を押さ俺に従え。
belum sehari di sini udah
ハ
punya
ウンズ
musuh.
の仕事は遊びではない。歯向かう者に手加減はしない。俺の靴を舐める覚悟はできてるか、お嬢様。
お嬢様。
I should ask you the same question. I want the one to lose.
I gestured for the boy to leave, but didn't look away from Sir Sazen.
You, go home.
でも
Just go.
ありがとうお姉ちゃん
Tomo.
お姉ちゃん This is a duel. Stand back. Don't interfere, no matter what, and don't distract him. Don't do anything that he could use as an excuse.
わかりました。ご分を。
Good luck.
ご苦労。
仲間とおしゃべりとずいぶん余裕があるようだな。ここでは俺に歯向かう者はいないからな。その体でせいぜい楽しませてくれ。
Kohwa.
You lazy. I'm going to go about this tragically.
We stood at a distance from one to another, sword drawn. I could see Sir Sazen's face beyond the tip of my blade. Carrying a sword meant that he had at least some skill with it. He also knew the environment better. I was at disadvantage.
No, I shouldn't think like that.
Terima kasih Yuuki Mirai sudah mengedukasi Hani Haninozuka memainkan Otome game. Much appreciated, katanya Bunga.
Bunga.
Sama-sama Bunga. Aku juga senang bisa mengajak Hani-chan main Otome game, menunjukkan sisi feminimnya. The quickest path to defeat was to doubt myself. I had to believe I could win.
First, I have to find out how good he is.
どうぞ。
I'll go first.
Oh. Sir Sazen lowered his blade to his chest and parried my attack without flinching. Sparks flew where the swords collided. I broke the sword around and used the momentum for another strike. Yeah. Ah.
甘い。
Amai. Sir Sazen slammed my sword aside and raised his leg to kick me in my right flank where I was now open. I barely had time to lower my stance and block his leg with my right arm. Manly sekali kayaknya.
Oh iya, sorry.
Gak apa-apa, lucu. It was an improvised defense and the shock of his kick was severe. I grimaced. Tangannya luka.
My right arm.
My sword arm tingled with pain. My grip was faltering. Sersa sensed my weakness and broke his sword down without hesitation. Oh, ada CG-nya. Oh, kakoi.
Understand it me. We have barely started. I can slowly feel my arm again. I just need to calm down and react.
警察官殿の規定通りの剣術ほどつまらないものはないな。罪人相手の方がまだマシだ。あいつらは逃げて逃げるしかない。どこまでも追いかけて捕まえ、そして殺す。
Orang ini agak-agak.
ハウンズに逆らう者はハウンズの方で裁かれる。
怖いよ。
どのような自由。
絶対嫌だこの人。ada rutenya nggak ya? 絶対嫌だ。
お前の相手をするよ。ずっと楽しいぞ。
I didn't draw my sword to amuse you.
I flexed my grip on my hilt and glared at Sir Saxon.
I pity the hounds for having such a barbaric commander as you. And I pity you for only finding amusement in killing.
なんだと。
なんだと。Oh. Our sword clashed again and again. The tip of my sword grazed Sir Saxon's cheek and drew a trickle of blood. Oh, kakak. Sir Saxon's eye flashed with rage. Our swords clashed again and we were practically in beating range of one another.
He's strong.
He was pushing against my sword with all his might. It was difficult to maintain my footing.
Do I move back or do I?
Nani? The pressure suddenly disappeared. I caught a glint in the corner of my left eye. By the time I realized it was a short sword, the edge had already bitten into my left shoulder. Wait. The pain was incomparable the kick I had taken earlier. Warm blood ran over my skin. I went down on one knee, startled by the pain. Hani!
手出しはするなよ、デクノボ。この戦いに貴様は関係ないだろ。
Disebut papet dong.
俺に歯向かったことを謝るのが慈悲をくれてやってる。ただし
He kicked my sword aside.
許す。俺の靴を舐めてからだ。
頭おかしいよ、この人。
I underestimated you. It's true. Perhaps I'm not skilled enough to beat you anyway. But I won't apologize. It will be against my code.
貴様
Sir Saxon raised his sword. Oh, ada suara tembakan.
What is that sound?
I flinched. I never heard a noise like that before.
忠誠。誰だ？誰が撃った？
Kukira dia yang ketembak. Nobody answered. None of the residents dared to speak to him when he was in this state.
そこまでだ、ザックス。イネス。銃を撃ったのは貴様か。
Ines. The man Sir Saxon had called Ines shook his head.
いや、だが銃声に誘われここに来たのは事実だ。上階からは視察者と指導をしろという通達はなかったはずだ。違うか？
好きにさせ、共に神官員に仕える者として罪人たちの前で剣を交えるのは問題だ。
はい。Sir Sassen reluctantly seated his sword, grumbling under his breath.
君も早く収めろ。
Sir Sassen had put away his weapon but still growled at me with murderous intent. I decided to trust the man who had convinced Sir Sassen to back off. どうぞ。
Farewell. I'm sorry, but who are you?
イネス・ハインリヒ・ハイネ。
Ines.
To stop. Then, but
Sir Sassen and Sir Ines were of familiar height and build.
what impression they make is completely different.
大丈夫ですか？急いで怪我の手当てをしないと。
Oh iya, Vin, aku lupa.
負傷しているのか。腕の切り傷と。
打撲です。ここに医療施設はありますか？
Vin.
気にするなとは言わせません。あなたが思っている以上にひどい状態なんですから。この傷は支給されたものでは治せなさそうです。
Vin took a handkerchief and deftly wrapped it around my left arm. He seemed to be correct. The handkerchief immediately turned red, which meant the wound was deeper than I thought.
ハウンズ内の医療室へ案内しよう。ザックスは
Ines Heinrich Heine.
不要だ。この程度怪我とは呼ばん。
Sir Sassen, with the grace on his cheek, turned on his heel and walked away. When he was gone, Sir Ines gave a sigh and looked at me.
では我々も行こ
Kenapa tidak saya Shokara sama Sir Ines sih?
う。失礼します。
やあ、イネス君。
Ines kun.
Yeah, Ines-kun.
上階からやってきた視察者の。
Ines looked at me expectantly. I realized he didn't know our names.
Hani Tistella. This is a Finn new class.
彼女はザクス。ザクセンとも目負傷した。右腕に打ち傷、左肩に殺傷だ。見てくれるか。
もちろん、治療は医師としての務めですからね。私はグリッサード・ローゼライト。ハウンズ施設内で医師として働いています。上階からのゲストであれば二度と会うことはないでしょうけど、よろしくお願いしますね。
Sangat yakin kita gak akan ketemu lagi.
Sangat yakin. Pleasure to meet you.
おや、不思議そうな顔をしてどうしました？
Yes, both you and Ines are very different from Sir Sassen.
私は無力な医師ですから、彼のような凶暴さは持っていません。
グリッサードさん。
おっと、副リーダーの前で失言をしてしまいました。ですが、間違いではないはずです。ザクセン・ブランデンブルクはハウンズの頂点。目をつけた獲物はどこまでも追い、始末する。猟犬です。
How?
この保護地区ではザクセン君に逆らっては生きていけない。君はとんでもない相手に喧嘩をふっかけてしまったんですよ。
Vin ternyata tinggi banget ya. Dia paling tinggi si Vin.
Oh, bener.
Dikirain aku bakal pendek gitu dia.
It seems like it, but Sir Sassen was about to injure the child.
あ、そうそう。
なるほど
They
な。
can accuse him of abuse.
そのまっすぐさ。いつか命取りにならなければいいのだが。
話は後でもできます。まずは彼女の傷を見てはいただけませんか？
Vin has his priority.
おっと、失礼しました。さあ、こちらへ。 先に切り傷から見ましょうか。
Glee smiled and untied the handkerchief. I took off half my coat to expose my arm. Glee made small noises of appraisal. Finn leaned in.
傷の具合どうですか？
お母さんか。お母さん。
鋭く切れているものの問題はないですよ。止血して1日経過すればきっと元通りです。
Kalau dekat woi.
よかった。近い。
See, it wasn't a big deal.
Finn sighed a bit relief and I lightly slapped his stomach with the back of my hand.
I don't like how you keep worrying too much.
自分に無頓着すぎるあなたがいけないんです。輸血することになったらどうするんですか？
落ち着いて。
Then I would have gotten a transfusion.
しかし、
君は輸血を受け付けない体なのですか？医師として興味深い話題ですね。聞かせていただいてもいいですか？
Oh tunggu, aku baru sadar si dokter ini rambutnya panjang banget. Ya tuh.
Iya banyak.
Rapunzel.
Yes, but it's really nothing dramatic. I have unusual blood. One transfusion gives me no troubles, but the second one is potentially fatal.
死に至る。
Yes, I'm told that antibodies form after the first transfusion, so more transfusion can cause a rejection. I don't know how it works exactly, and I've never had a transfusion, so I don't know if it's true.
治療が原因で死ぬというのか。それは大変だな。
Is it? One serious enough to need a transfusion would be more danger anyway, wouldn't I? Besides, as I say, I've avoided them so far, so there's no cause for concern. You needn't worry about being fussy. You see fussy there?
Besi. I shrugged and smiled at Finn.
そんな。
そんな。
パートナーを気遣うのは当然のことだ。
Tuh, normal, Hani.
You too, Sir Ines.
気遣わせたくなければ負傷しなければいい。違うか？
違わないけどね。
Yes, that's true. Sir Sajan is strong, but if the fight had gone differently, I think I could have won. If I do him again, I'll...
cukup, Hani cukup.
そうではなく、自分が言いたいのは無茶な行動を慎めということだ。
Oh, I see.
正義を信じ、剣を振るうのは結構なことだ。だが、思うがまま突き進んではいつか我が身を滅ぼすことになる。パートナーを悲しませたくないだろう。
That's true, I suppose.
I'm sorry, Finn. Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
分かっていただけて嬉しいです。
お母さん。はいはい。どうぞどうぞ。I'll be like more careful from now on.
少しですか。頼みますよ、本当。
君は勇ましいお嬢さんなのですね。さあ、治療は終わりです。
I'll be a little more careful from now on.
ありがとうって。だ Thank you.
I'll be a little more careful
破
from
れた
now
服の
on.
ままでは嫌だろう。着替えを用意しよう。
Kenapa?
DC.
Gamenya nggak ada kah? Gamenya jadi
Ada.
nggak ada.
Ada. No, it won't be necessary. My overcoat is in good shape, and one has to look closely to see the match to the uniform.
わかった。もうこんな時間か。そろそろ駅へ向かうべきだろう。
Will there be another observation day?
構わない。下界へ来て保護地区の状況をその目で見て、ハウンズから許可証にサインをもらう。それで視察は終わりだ。
そうなんですか。なんというかあっけないですね。
ああ、中級警察官試験での視察は儀式でしかないからな。ザックスがいない今、自分が代理で行う。許可証を。
Thank you. Here.
We handed over our permits, which he signed with a pen from one of his uniform's pocket.
これでいい。では、
ada suara
Kimi tachi
tanda
wo miyokuro.
tangannya. Lucu.
行くぞ。
Arigato, Desa-desa. Thank you for the treatment.
お大事に。
お大事に。
Odaijiri.
こちらではなかなか見かけない興味深いお嬢さんでしたね。
あら、
いつかまたお目にかかりたいものです。
なんでOsang yung gelisah deh sama. It was dark by the time we reached the station. I saw the sanctuary district in the distance, and beyond it, the settlement of the native of the depths. I looked around, burning a scenery didn't expect to see again into my memory.
Thank you for your help today, Sir Ines.
Ines.
ザックスが迷惑をかけてすまなかったな。下界の視察は任務の一環に過ぎないが、ここへ来て何か得たものはあったか。
Something I can take away. Apa nih? Mau jawab apa? Hani.
That I have to be stronger.
Gak mau what about you, Vin? Pepet aja terus, Vinnya.
Ini mepet mulu sih, Pin. Aku mau nikah, hey.
That I have to be stronger ya, benar ya?
Ya.
Sip.
I need to be stronger. Worse than me, mas in the end. This need to be
Oh,
This need to be out. I want to be strong enough to make sure that my belief can persevere.
君はまだ若く、いくらでも強くなれる。無茶をせず、段階を踏んで進むことだ。
I will. Thank you.
今日はゆっくりと休むことだ。二人ともご苦労だった。
We will.
I will. Arigato.
ありがとうございました。
ご苦労だった。
We saluted Sir Ines and boarded the lift. Dadah, Sir Ines. Dadah.
Dadah.
He kept an eye on us until the doors were completely closed. Sayonara, Sir Ines. We were back inside the lift. Compared to our journey down, I felt much more relaxed.
Probably because you are on the way back to the haze.
I let out a sigh of relief, happy that I was returning in one piece.
Well, I got the injury means I am not entirely in one piece.
The cut in The cut in my shoulder was no big deal, but the cut in the uniform was a problem.
I flesh, but the fabric. Mother will be horrified when she finds out. I haven't sewn anything since school. I hope I don't mess it up. Maybe I could ask Finn to do it. He might be better than I am. Hey Finn, can you see?
すみません。
なんで
You're not good at it?
Finn sitting across looked at me quizzically. I was at loss.
Are we misunderstanding each other?
裁縫とは
Oh, he must have misunderstood me after all. Look, my colors are ripped, right?
I showed him my uniform.
I'm not good at sewing. I was thinking about asking you if you were decided it.
ああ、そういうことでしたか。
何 Finn
人
mikir
並み
apa?
程度にはできますけど、制服の修繕はプロに頼んだ方がいいですよ。新会員の備品管理事務所に相談しては。
Oh yeah. You're right. There's no reason to fix it myself. Thanks, Finn. So, why were you apologizing?
俺はその何もできなかったことに対してです。
You didn't do anything?
はい。あなたが負傷し、血まで流したというのに、あなたがブランデンブルクさんと戦っている間、俺は何もできなかった。それがとても悔しくて、情けない。本当に、すみません。
大丈夫だよ。
Finn, good job, yo. Don't bow to me. You did everything right. If we'd both fought, maybe I wouldn't have been hurt. Maybe we would have won. But it wasn't a battle of 2-on-1. It was a duel. Nobody but me and Sarsasen could fight. You respected my wishes. That's all I wanted. Hanging back takes courage too.
守るとか勇気とか違うんです。本当に俺は何もできなかった。それだけだ。体が全く動かなかった。体験したところで抜かなくては振るわなくては意味がないのに。
Next time, then.
どういう
Next time, I'm in trouble. You can fight with me, okay?
はい。その時は必ずこの剣であなたを守ってみせます。
Thanks, Finn.
I was happy that Finn was smiling again.
Sir Ines was right. I don't want to make my partner sad.
I was really happy to have Finn as my partner.
I don't want to make him sad or have him worry. I have to change my behavior for that.
Yeay, pulang. Kata.
Stopping into scene management before heading home has made me rather late, hasn't it? I hold my parents' arms to worry.
I bid good
I
night to
bid
Finn
good
and
night.
opened the door.
Tadaima.
やっと戻ってきたのね。
近いてお母さんどうした
Okasa.
I looked
Mother.
at my friend's mother in surprise and nodded. どうぞ。 mother, still far from calm, began to pace back and forth. This is odd. They never been this upset before. I look curiously at the clock on the
Receh
wall.
lagi.
It's late. That's all.
Bayunya ngelek.
Langga gamenya enggak kan harusnya. It's late tonight, but not midnight. There had been times when I'd never even later. There had been times when I'd been even later, and they'd been exasperated, but they'd never been upset before. Dozo? Masih DC? Halo, halo, halo. Halo, 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 halo. Mother, something.
ようやく帰ってきたのか。
Mother.
少し前、新会員からお前の結婚取り消しの通知が届いたんだ。
え？
仕事先で何かあったのか。
Eh? Hani-chan, halo. Lihat pernikahannya dibatalkan. Hani-chan.
Halo.
Halo. Lihat tuh kata Otosang pernikahannya dibatalkan. Called off? I thought of my duel with Sir Sasen.
Halo.
Ya, halo.
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 Ya, ada suaranya ada.
Hai. Bayunya gelek.
Ya, tadi yang kelewat sama Hani-chan itu cuma ayah orang tuanya ngasih tahu kalau pernikahannya dibatalkan. Iya.
Ih, aku udah siap nikah. Aku udah kawin. Tidak. It was in the depth. It's unrelated.
Dia
Kok jadi nikah sih?
jadi si MC-nya mikir karena dia berantem sama si Sasen jadi gagal nikah gitu. Tapi gak tahu ya, kita lihat alasannya apa.
Belum tahu alasannya.
Belum tahu. Trying to think of any way that the duel could be the reason, I shook my head. No.
結婚の取り消しなんて聞いたことがないわ。一体どうしてだけの方々に何と思われるか。
Ya, wedding dress-nya gagal. Dozo. Mother. Okasa-san, 落ち着いてください。
落ち着いてなんていられないわ。あなたはどうして冷静でいられるの。
いや、私は嬉しいよ。別に。Well, the government decided my marriage. Perhaps they had a reason to decide against it.
事情って何？どういうこと？
わかりません。I'll go to the temple first thing tomorrow and ask. Please calm down.
お前もな。こんなに遅くまで仕事をしていたんだ。疲れただろう。ゆっくり休みなさい。
はい。My father took pity on me. I don't want to leave my mother alone in this state, but my father will be with her.
Mirai.
Hai, ada kok suaranya ada.
Good night. Kasa. Saya tuh marah. Gak kawin.
Belum ketahuan alasannya, katanya besok MC-nya mau ke tempelnya gitu buat ngasih cari tahu. Hey, Dozo.
I'm dead tired.
I placed my sword against the wall and took off my overcoat. Then I began to untie my outer garment. It was a replacement with my own uniform handed in for mending. The buttons were in slightly different places, making my movement clumsy. I was relieved to finally get into my night clothes.
Way too much happens today.
It had been my first time to the depths. It was a crude world compared to the heights. I talk about the criminals that live there and their overseers, the hounds.
I would have liked to talk to my parents about it, but that wasn't the right time.
My marriage, long in the process of planning, had been abruptly called off.
I'm not as upset as my mother, but
I assumed the reason it wasn't hitting me as hard as it was her was my long-standing antipathy about it.
that said, we can't rely on it. Really know it.
My mother was right. Me to your nobility like my family had to maintain curtain appearances. If word got out that our union with the Fitzgerald family was not to be, the shame might drive my mother to shut herself up in the house.
At the very least, we need to find out why.
A reason my mother and the world could accept, and that I could too.
Tomorrow will be hell again.
I rolled down into my bed and took a deep breath. After only a few inhales and exhales, I really felt like I was dissolving into the soft linen. My mind was weary. Oyasumi.
Oyasumi nasai.
Oyasumi. Oh. Titik 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 titik. Titik titik titik
Oyasumi
titik.
nasai.
Titik titik titik.
Apa sih titik dulu?
Itu tulisannya titik titik. Nani desu. Kenapa kaget?
What was that sound?
It was too loud to be a figment of my imagination.
I need to go check.
The house was very dark at night and as quiet as always.
Right now, the silence feels ominous.
I prayed nothing out of the ordinary would happen as I checked the rooms.
Huh?
I saw light seeping out from under a door into the hallway. The parlor?
Parlor? Is someone in there?
I opened the door and stepped inside. I looked around the parlor. There was nobody there.
Did someone forget to turn off the light?
I hadn't found the origin of the loud sound, but I hadn't found anything unusual either.
I suppose I must have Ima.
There was a knife lying at my feet.
What is this here?
I pick it up.
Huh?
Apa pingsan kah? Majika, nani doshita no dare? It was my father's birthday. My mother and I had gone out shopping and on the way home I broke the news.
本気で言っているの？
もちろん。
もちろん。
Kasa?
I want to be a police officer. I want to protect the weak.
お父様と同じ政治家であっても弱き者は助けられるでしょ？
それはそうね。だけどな。
だけど、でも、I don't like sitting around. I don't think I will be a good politician. So I want to be a police officer. Officer.
警察官はなりたいという気持ちだけでなれる職ではないわよ。厳しい採用試験を合格したとしても昇格にも試験があると聞くわ。力仕事でしょうし怪我をすることも多いでしょう。あなたの体のことを考えれば警察官なんてなってほしくないわ。
That's true. It's probably not a good idea given my blood. But despite that, want to be a police officer. I don't want my blood to stop me. I'll take precautions to avoid truly serious injury. お願いします。
私は小さな怪我だってごめんです。
お母さんが怒った。
あなたは頑固ですもの。私なんかの説得は無意味でしょうね。
Does it mean I have your blessing?
子供の幸せを望むのが親の務め。真剣になりたいと願うのなら応援するわ。数々の苦難があるでしょう。それでも諦めずに乗り越えなさい。
ありがとうお母さん。
I will. I never do anything to shame the Tistella family name. I will work hard to become a police officer that you and father can be proud of.
Darkness. At first there was nothing but a starless black void. Then I began to come back to my sense, starting with smell. I could smell dust. I could smell perfume. And a moment later, my sense of touch returned. My fingers were drenched in warm liquid. As I flexed my knuckles, I came to an important realization. I existed. I was alive.
I'm at home.
My vision blurred every time I took a breath. It was hard to focus on anything. There was a stinging pain on the back of my head.
But at least I am.
I had to get up. I took 2 deep breaths and pushed myself up.
Oh, my head.
The back of my skull edge.
What on earth? But
There was a large pool of blood on the floor. And in the middle of it, I saw my mother's and father. Akhirnya.
why?
Both had gory wounds on their necks and lines of draw running from their mouths. Their white eyes were sightless and unblinking. I didn't have to check for vital signs to know that they were dead.
Why? Why?
Who? Why? For what? Question overwhelmed my thoughts like a noisy crowd. My heart began to race.
What?
I looked up and saw myself in the mirror. I was clutching a blood-stained knife. I dropped the knife in shock. It made a light clang on the blood-drenched floor.
What is this? Who did this?
Who? Daddy.
I was the one holding the knife. Therefore, the one who mother and father is me.
Ada yang ngetok. Bentar deh, aku belum save dari tadi baru inget. Laptop. Nah, mau save. Nah. Ini aja. A knock at the front door made me jump. We had a visitor. My heart felt like it was about to explode. I was having trouble breathing. It was like there was a heavy weight pressing on my chest.
Ooh,
迎えに来ました。
誰？
that voice.
その声は
おはようございます。 したんですか？
Come in and I'll explain.
でも
Just come in, will you?
わかりました。
I still don't really have any idea what's going on, but now Finn's here. What should I do next? Would it be a mistake to let him inside?
I couldn't ignore what had happened. Finn came to walk with me to the temple every day. Not telling him what had happened to my parents would seem suspicious to anyone.
その血どうしたんですか？早く病院へ行かないと。
No, this isn't.
I started to reach out trying to calm Finn's confusion. Then I realized my hand was covered in blood. I hid behind my back instead.
Don't worry, I'm fine. No, I'm not fine. But this isn't my blood. I'm not hurt.
では誰の？
I couldn't bring myself to say it. I turned to look at the scene of the floor again. When Finn saw the lifeless body of my parents, all the color drained from his face.
嘘だ。どうしてこんな。
Ara.
そんな冗談でしょ。
I don't know. What's going on?
I wanted to believe that all this was some kind of sick prank designed to shock me.
Mother and father are dead. They won't allow with me anymore. They won't call my name again.
現実って言われても俺だってお二人が。
Finn paced the floor erratically, his whole manner one of obvious distress. But at least, Ender with me helped me regain my composure.
Who would do this? It's possible that the killer was me.
そうなんですか？
Kumaha si Hani?
I don't think so.
Jadi gimana?
I don't think so. I'd like to hope that it wasn't me. I want to be sure, but it couldn't be. But I couldn't had my stomach it knots. I had no memory of killing them. They were already dead when I woke up.
However, I had clearly been there when with the knife.
どういうことですか？詳しく聞かせてください。
I
Yes,
closed
right.
my eyes, concentrating on the thing I never curtained.
I was very tired today, so I went to bed soon after coming home. In the night, a loud sound woke me. I couldn't ignore it and got up to search the house. Nothing was out of the ordinary except one detail. I saw light seeping out in the dark the hallway from one of the rooms. Assuming my parents were inside, I whined. But there was nobody there. And then I lost consciousness. When I'm come to this morning by holding this knife. My mother and my father were lying on the floor, dead.
Finn hadn't
You are
moved a
further
muscle
not
throughout
able to
my
move.
account, listening in silence. That's all, I added helplessly, even though it seemed obvious.
Do you see the knife I was carrying that? that my parents were stabbed. I'm the most obvious suspect.
違う。
Finn's refusal was strong and clear.
違います。あなたがご両親を殺すはずがありません。そのままじっとしていてください。
Finn pressed his fingertip against the back of my head.
あ、すみません。ですがほら、痛みを感じたんでしょう。何者かに殴られ、あなたは気絶した。ご両親が死んだのはきっとその後です。間違いない。あなたは無実です。
I had no memory of attacking my parents, but the fact that the situation made me the most reasonable suspect under ordinary circumstances. Finn's faith in me had dispelled my own doubt about whether I was guilty or not.
It can be.
I realized that I was beginning to tear up. I berated myself that this was no time to lose my steadfast self-control.
Now isn't the time to cry. I'll have enough time later.
I took a deep breath to help me order my thoughts.
We won't do this.
俺にはわかりません。でも、良くない状況だということはわかります。世間に知れれば、真っ先に疑われるのはあなただ。
もちろんね。
Finn's right.
I imagine what a stranger walking into the scene would have detected. They have declared Hani Tistella a murderer without hesitation.
That doesn't mean I should conceal the crime.
I couldn't leave my parents like this. My father was a politician. His colleagues would soon notice his absence. I considered concealing the corpse, but didn't know any of location where they remain hidden.
But their corpses.
The talk alone was practically an admission of guilt. Trying to maintain a visit was almost certain to end in disaster.
I'll tell Sir Cordwa the truth.
No. My words startled Finn.
You're right, it's a bad situation for me, but the more I try to hide, the worse it will become. I want to go him and tell him the truth. It's the best solution, I think.
そうですか。わかりました。
Wah, feelingku jelek. You can go home if you want. I'll go to Sir Cordwa.
いえ、俺も付き添います。あなたを一人にしたくはありません。
Finn,
俺たちはパートナーですよ。大事な時です。一緒にいさせてください。
thank you. Thank you for being there for me. And for our dad. They won't come back.
But Finn was still there. He said he believed in me. His kindness knocked the wind out of my sails, and the tears I held back before return almost overwhelming me. Honey,
Don't come closer.
Finn stepped forward to comfort me, but I stopped him.
You shouldn't get any blood on your uniform. I'm strong. I'll be okay. I'll change into my uniform. Please wait outside.
わかりました。どんな時でも俺はあなたの味方です。
Thank you, Finn. Oh, tidak.
君が今言ったことは全部本当なのか？
Yes, I would not joke about the death of my parents.
ああ、そうだな。しかし、一体誰が？
No, nobody. My father and my mother were both well liked. But a politician, he not have had enemies, though. At the very least, I don't know of anybody who bore a will toward them.
そうか。コルドワ殿、彼女はどうなりますか？
どうだろうな。ティステラ君の父君は政治家。早速捜査を依頼するとしよう。関係者であるティステラ君は新会員から出ないでくれ。
Understood.
ユークレース君は
俺は彼女のそばについています。
わかった。気を強く持つことだ、ティステラ君。
Yes, I know. This was the only possible course of action, but I feel uneasy.
No matter what I did, it couldn't change the fact that my parents were dead, gone from me forever. Everything reminded me of that.
But this is for the best.
Attempting to hide their deaths would have done nothing except make me the prime suspect.
This was the best choice.
礼拝堂へ行きませんか？
The chapel?
ご両親に祈りを捧げるために、祈ったところで何かが変わるわけではありませんが。
Finn looked away and mumbled the dejected apology.
Yes, I'll do that. But if I'm alone right now, I think I'll go insane. Will you come with me, Finn?
はい、喜んで。
喜んで。
はい、喜んで。
ここはいつ来ても静かですね。
Yes, there's nobody here but us.
The cable was part of the temple, a place to offer devotion to the holy unit. We approached the icon of our faith and said our prayers, then sat down on one of the pews. Finn sat beside me. The only sound I could hear in the quiet was our breathing.
Father.
I thought that they were mortal and someday their life would end. I just didn't expect it to happen so early in my own life.
Was there some way I could have saved them?
I tried to think of anything I might have done from them, but drew a blank.
Step wounds were deep. It must have been very painful. May they at least rest peacefully in the world beyond.
I looked at the ceiling. My breathing was steady.
当分は結婚どころじゃなくなりそうですね。突然すみません。ここは結婚式を挙げる場所でもあるので、ふとあなたの結婚のことを思い出したんです。ドレスの試着が終わって、遠くない未来、ここで結婚式を挙げていたのに、残念ですね。
Well, the marriage was called off yesterday anyway.
亡くなったってどうしてですか？
I don't know. My parents told me when I got home. They didn't know why. They were pretty disappointed about it, though. I wasn't as depressed over it as they were. I never wanted the marriage very much in the first place. Perhaps I was even a little relieved that it was cancelled. I was going to come to the temple first thing in the morning to ask why. We talked about it before I went to bed. That was my last conversation with them. I wish I could go back to the past.
Losing them this way was horrible. We never even had a properly goodbye. they had ever done was support me, and I'd never had the chance to return the favor, and now I never could.
What's going to happen to me now? I wonder.
I had no idea. I felt like a vast darkness was engulfing me.
大丈夫ですよ。
Finn placed his hand on mine.
Finn,
言ったでしょ。
Finn.
俺はあなたの味方です。誰が何と言おうと、あなたを信じます。
Thanks.
Bukan kamu kan pembunuhnya, Finn, awas ya.
Mirai.
Suka-suka tiba-tiba plot twist gitu.
Better.
Nande. I took his hand and laid my head on his shoulder. Oh, mentang-mentang udah single.
I'm a little tired. Can I rest here for a minute?
お好きにどうぞ。寝ても構いません。
Thank you. Thank you, Finn. I'm glad I found the pendant.
Of respect lagi.
They won't find me if I sneak back to my room.
こんな時間にどこへ行っていたの？
あら、
夜の外出は危険だと前に教えたでしょ。人さらいにあったらどうするの？
ごめんなさい。
無事だったからよかったものの、あなたはティステラ家の一人娘なのよ。もう少し自覚を。
そこまでにしなさい、ミスティ。その子が萎縮してしまってるじゃないか。
あなた。
何か理由があって外へ行ったんだろう。違うかい？
My father's kind voice calmed me down and I nodded.
I lost the pendant mother gave me. I want to find it. I found it. Look.
I turned towards my mother and apologized again.
何事もなく戻ってきてよかったよ。ペンダントも、お前も。
My father embraced me. His facial hair tickles again my cheeks.
父さんも母さんも心配するのは、お前がとても大事だからだよ。
I love you too. Both of you.
ああ、
Both.
父さんも、お前が大好きだよ。
ああ、お父さん。
見つけたぞ。
Footsteps echoed through the cable. Finn and I barely had a chance to stand before they had us surrounded. Nani?
What is this?
I didn't understand what was going on. I looked around, confused by the hostile glares being aimed at us.
ギフ・ティステラおよびミスティ・ティステラ殺害犯としてお前を逮捕する。
I'm under arrest?
そんな、何かの間違いだ。彼女はやっていない。
黙れ下級警察官。こちらには揺るぎない証拠が複数ある。公務執行を妨害するならば。
俺は。
It's okay, Finn. Just follow your orders. I don't want you to lose your job because of me.
でも。
Finn, you said you trust me. You really mean that, didn't you?
はい、もちろんです。
Then I can accept my fate. If there is someone who believes me, I can accept it.
ですが、やってもいない罪を着せられるなんて不条理です。
I know, but I can find my way out of this. Out of this.
どうぞ。No matter what they say, I'm innocent. I'll never confess to killing my parents. I'll carry my name someday, and I want you to be there on that day.
わかりました。俺、
行くぞ。さっさと来い。
An officer stepped between us, making it impossible for me to take Finn's outstretched hand. The men marched me away from Finn, their expression watchful and weary. I turned as we reached the chapel door. Finn's expression was devastated as he looked at me. Well,
指示があるまでここにいろ。騒ぐんじゃないぞ。
はい、わかりました。I murmured the words quietly to myself as I listened to the sound of retreating footsteps. That forced me to change into different clothes and put me in one of the holding cells. I've put so many criminals in here. I know everything about this place. Even if I scream, nobody will be able to hear it. The holding cells were designed to contain criminals and suspects. Taking criminals to these cells was part of my job as a rank 1 police officer. I didn't know much about what happened to them afterwards. I never dreamed that I end up here myself. I love in disbelief at my misfortune. Dozo?
But I'm not dreaming.
The cold walls, the sparse furnishings, the crime I was accused of, none of this was a dream.
It would be nice if it was.
My vision became blurry and my eyelids itched. My throat and my nose hurt, but not as much as my heart. Whether I killed them or not would be discovered eventually. But either way, my parents were dead. That was never going to change. My parents were never coming back.
I knew they would die one day, but I never thought they'd be gone so soon.
I wondered if I'd been a good doctor to them. All I'd ever done was worry them or give them extra work to do.
I can't even ask them now. I told myself I had to be strong, but just look at me now.
My tears refused to hold back any longer.
Want to see them one more time, just to say thank you.
I kept thinking about what Finn had said. This isn't right. No, it wasn't right. My father, my mother, myself, none of us deserved this. What unknown enemy could deal out such cruelty? I didn't know. I didn't see the faintest ray of hope.
Even so, I need to be strong and alive.
Even if I didn't know how much more I might be forced to endure, I was alive. My father and my mother were both dead, but Hani Tistella was alive. And as long as I was alive, I could find out what had really happened. I couldn't resurrect the dead, but I could avenge this atrocity.
This chaos will not slow me, ever.
I will survive. Oh, the death of the case. Yata. Setelah sekian lama, 2 minggu.
おい、起きろ。 お前を今から下界へ移送する。
Dikirim ke the depths tuh. The depths? What are you talking about? I haven't confessed to anything. I'm innocent. Let me prove it.
犯罪者が生意気な口を聞くな。
It's a crime to deny someone their rights, which is what you're doing to me right now.
黙れ。犯罪者に人権などない。
The words were an echo of ones I'd heard before, and it made my skin crawl. It's like Sirsa sent from the hounds. He'd said something similar as he treated the citizens of his sanctuary district like objects. I'll never allow myself to be treated like that. No, I don't want to go to the depths.
お前の意思は関係ない。みっともないぞ、ティステラ。お前らしく気丈に振る舞ったらどうだ。さあ、行くぞ。
The distance from the holding cells to the station wasn't very far, but it felt almost unbearably long as I started to outform all sides. I suppose it's some comfort that Finn doesn't have to see me like this. Maybe he was among those watching and I just couldn't see him. Even if that was true, I was grateful that I didn't have to come face to face with him. I didn't want him to see me in such powerless state. Halo Hani-chan.
Oh, hai.
Kairi.
Hai.
Paling ketinggalannya ini kita dikirim ke the depths katanya. Tanpa disidang. Langsung dihukum.
Masuk ke steam prison ya? Masuk ke bawah, masuk ke depth.
Nggak disidang dulu, nggak apa gitu.
Waduh.
A substantial group of glaring police officers awaited me at the station. I gulped. One of them told me to walk and shoved me forward. I had no choice but follow their orders like a puppet with no will of her own. Send me, I see. Not as a police officer but as a criminal. Not on an assignment but as a punishment. I was being sent down as a criminal. Wish. Kaget. A loud bang broke the silence as the door was thrown open. I turned. Pinda Arab. I saw my partner. He came towards me carrying a bundle of documents.
待ってくれ。彼女を連れて行かないでくれ。
お前は誰だ。
フィン・ユークレース、下級警察官。彼女の潔白を扶持するものです。急ぎ司法を調べたところ、容疑者に二等身以内がいない場合、第三者が扶持できるとありました。彼女は祖父母が存命でないため、俺が扶持して無罪である主張を。
それはできない。
なぜですか。ここには、この書類にはちゃんと書かれています。
The police officer slapped the documents out of his hand. They tumbled through the air and scattered on the floor.
案件は特殊扱いと言われている。通常の法は適用される。
Unique rules?
あ、
なんだそれ。どういうことだ。
お前が知らなくていいことだ。立ち去れ。フィン・ユークレース。
嫌だ。納得できるまでここを動く気はない。法は人が社会で正しく生きるため守られなければいけない。揺らいではいけない決まり事だ。それをなんだ特殊とは。誰がそう言った。納得できる理由も得られないまま彼女は罪を着せられるのか。
黙れ。時間を取らせるな。公務執行妨害で捕らえるぞ。
公務と呼べることをしているならそうしろ。今行われようとしていることは横暴だ。
かっこいい。
Finish reaching for this sword. Finn, don't be hasty. If you draw your sword now, they'll be closer.
ですが、あなたはどうなるんですか。わけがわからないままやってもいない罪を背負い生きていくんですよ。いいんですか。
Think, Hani
助
think.
け正義を貫くあなたが親殺しだと指さされ続けるんですよ。耐えられるんですか。俺は無理です。
Tungguin Fit.
Of course I had off it, but
Of course I didn't want to be punished for a crime I didn't commit. I wanted to prove my innocence.
if I make a sin now, Finn will end up in a world of trouble.
This wasn't his fight. Dragging my only ally to disrepute with me wouldn't solve anything.
Never forgive myself. It hurt his future as well as mine. I have to make him see that I'll be fine, so that he'll back off. doesn't matter. It will break my heart to see you caught up in this. I'll come back when we meet again. So please, don't draw your sword.
For a moment, Finn stood conflicted. Then the tension drained from him.
わかりました。待っています。
Thank you, Finn. I'm glad I still have home to return to.
帰るべき場所。
Yes, you, Finn. You'll be my light in the darkness.
待っていますから。ずっとあなたを。
ずっとあなたを、ハニー。
Yeah, I'll be back. Be seeing you, Finn.
I boarded the lift and turned around. Finn kept looking at me until the very moment the door closed. The lift began to vibrate as soon as I sat down. I could sense the downward motion. The voice that Finn and I had heard was silent. The lift clearly treated criminals and officials differently.
And I'm being sent down as a criminal.
Surprised at how calm I was, I leaned back on the seat. It felt just as comfortable as it had the first time. I suspected that the lift was descending at the same rate as previously as well. But this time there was only me. Finn wasn't here, and neither were the police officers. I didn't feel alone, but Tuzo?
No, I don't feel alone. I
Waduh.
don't feel alone.
With a heavy heart, I considered my life from that point onward. I had no intention of hiding or running. I was going to have faith in myself and try to live a just life. That said, I had been disarmed. I felt vulnerable without my sword.
I told Finn I'll believe in myself, and I will.
When he'd shown up suddenly, it had surprised me, but I was grateful that I'd been able to see him at the end.
I hope they won't give him trouble for what he did.
I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I wanted to go back, but truthfully, I didn't know whether I would ever be able to.
Finn, I want you to be strong.
Karena tadi aku penasaran Finn ada rutenya atau enggak, aku cari dan ternyata ada ya kata.
Gimana?
Ini aku kan penasaran, aku takutnya Finn nggak punya rute gitu. Jadi aku searching, oh ada. Cuma katanya rutenya Finn tuh nggak bisa kita dapetin kalau kita nggak nge-unlock rute yang lain dulu. Pain.
Jadi harus main lagi gitu.
Iya, jadi semua karakter yang lain kita harus dapetin dulu happy ending yang lain, baru kita bisa mainin rutenya Finn gitu.
Waduh. Oke.
Jadi ya, dadah Finn. Sarabada.
Berarti udah udahan dong. Gila.
Itu terakhir kali kita ya tuh harus rute yang lain harus dibuka dulu katanya, kata yang nge-review. Sad. Dadah Win, it was fun. Seems that
I've arrived.
I sigh and see at the lack of sword at my hip.
Well, I can't stay in here. Alright, then. So bright.
As before, the sky in the depth was gloomy and low-hanging. But for me, having slept until not long ago, it was too bright.
distinctive smell, the dampness, and never though I'd experience it again.
My father used to tell me that life is unpredictable.
I definitely didn't predict this kind of life. Hmm?
A long dark shadow moved toward me. I looked up and saw a man wearing the uniform of the hounds.
My treatment already sucks.
It's not like I expected him to start with a greeting and polite small talk about the weather, but being even a little civility would have been appreciated.
Hani Tistella.
だと言っただろ生を不要だ
Why?
ここ保護地区では罪人に姓を名乗る資格はないここへ送られるということは血族に泥を塗ったということだ恥を知り
There was no malice in his voice. Those were simply the rules, and I wouldn't accomplish anything by protesting about them to him.
I have to pick my battles. I can't rebel against everything.
Only a child would use the chance to throw a tantrum, but I told myself that it was a ridiculous rule and nodded in acceptance.
I can still be true to myself.
I walked away from the lift, swearing to myself that someday I'd be back. I wasn't given any chance to rest during the hour-long walk it took to reach the headquarters of the hounds.
罪人登録だ。ここに署名を。
I was handed a sheet of paper and a pen by a second man. It asked for some basic personal information to register me as a resident of the sanctuary district. There was a space for my signature.
Criminal control, huh?
I say at the bureaucracy division's name in the header of the seat and sign and return it.
以上だ。あとは好きにしろ。
好きにしろ As I wish.
I wish.
The man nodded impassively.
我らハウンズが住民に行うのは食料と薬の配給と治安維持のみ。居住地斡旋など他の支援は一切行っていない。まずは空き家を探すことだな。どこに誰が住もうが我らには関係ない。お前がどこで何をしのたれ死のうがそれはお前の勝手。だがハウンズの邪魔立てはするなよ。
Alright.
I wanted to tell him what I thought of that, but it wouldn't have helped.
I don't want to deal with the house anyway. I might run into.
そこにいるの
Langsung ketemu.
What? Oh,
Ya
ketemu dong.
dong. Ya dong.
Oh, can be.
A shiver ran down my back. Desperately hoping that I was mistaken, I turned around.
おやおやこれは
Oi, oi.
いつかの下級警察官殿ではありません
Mau urusai na.
I was prepared to run into him eventually, but I was hoping it would be a little later.
これはザクセン様。
Sir Saxon took the seat from his subordinate with a dirty grin.
ほうなるほど高潔な警察官殿が罪人となるとは
Must have known.
He was commander of the hounds. He must have known I was coming.
There's no other way to explain his timing.
最果ての極へ落ちるとは運の尽きだな
Hani.
いや運が尽きたのは貴様の親か我が子に殺されるとは夢にも思うまい
Siapa nih senpai? Halo senpai. Selamat datang.
Oh, senpai.
Sir Saxon grabbed me by the hair and pulled me violently towards him. Boy! Hey! Nanne! 話 Nase. Kita ditarik dari rambut Nande.
ここでは俺が全てだ。貴様らには人権などない。ゴミだ。ハウンズに逆らう者は容赦なく追い、喉を裂き、噛み殺す。覚えておけ。
I'm worrying for someone who hates me so much.
俺が貴様を嫌う。うぬぼれるな小娘。
Sahsen let go of my hair and pushed me back.
嫌いなものか。貴様は玩具だ。今すぐ壊すこともできる。それはつまらん。貴様の心身を破壊し、誇りを踏み潰し、存在を否定し、生きる望みを握りつぶしてから。
Apa sih ada masalah apa sih hidupnya Sahsen? Sini story sama Mirai. Nani dostato? Kowai yo.
それまで玩具は玩具らしく、せいぜい俺を楽しませ。
Kowai yo. Sahsen gave me a thin smile and walked away, disappearing into the building. His subordinate followed him. Men like they didn't frighten me.
But now I am powerless. Viruses will kill me, and that will be the end of it.
I needed to become powerful enough to fight him.
No. First, I need a place to sleep.
I had to find shelter before nightfall. Datengin aja si anak yang waktu itu diselamatin.
Paling dibantu sama dia.
Hmm.
I have to find a place to sleep.
I walked and walked, looking everywhere, but couldn't find somewhere to stay. I went over my memories of what I'd seen during the first observation. I couldn't remember anything like an inn.
Besides, I have no money. I didn't pay the innkeep.
I paused to rest on the edge of the road.
I never dreamed I'd have to find a home down here.
My parents had been killed, I'd been framed for the murder, and then I'd been exiled. And it had all happened in some sort of amount of time. Even now I couldn't pause to regret and gather my thoughts.
The sun is even lower now.
A few hours more and the streets would be completely dark. Waiting until then would make finding somewhere to sleep even more difficult.
Well, then, guess I'll keep looking.
I ignored my fatigue and began to walk again. Hai, begini, Hani-chan, udah jam segini.
Hai.
Udah jam setengah 11. Udah melewati lewat 20 menit dari jadwal biasanya Mirai. Jadi kita pause dulu di sini. Mari kita lanjut di stream berikutnya. Do desu ka?
Hai.
Gimanakah ceritanya sejauh ini Hani-chan?
Sudah mulai konfliknya semua mulai ya. Berarti memang alur mundur yang sekarang baru normal.
Iya.
Memang ceritanya itu adalah untuk menangkap diriku. Nah, intinya itu sih.
Watching me, iya.
Nah benar. Emang ceritanya emang kayaknya di sini sih. Tadi makan itu masih prolog gitu. 2 hari sebelumnya.
Lumayan sedih juga ya, kita kayaknya nggak akan ngelihat Vin lagi.
Wah, tidak akan ngeliat Vin
beberapa
lagi.
waktu. Iya.
Tidak.
Apalagi kan tadi pas nyari reviewnya ternyata nggak bisa nge-unlock rutenya Vin buat sekarang. Sedih. Ya. Berarti mulai sekarang kita bakal mulai ketemu sama karakter-karakter baru harusnya. Harusnya
ya. Yay.
Ya, otonoshimi ni ne.
Hai.
Tuh. Ada yang mau disampaikan dulu sebelum kita tutup streamnya kah, Hani-chan?
Apa ya? Udah sih.
Gak ada ya. Alright then, sampai jumpa di terima kasih yang udah datang. Tadi yang udah datang ada Rani, ada Jordan, Hirasang, Mersang, Jeko Takayuki, Haidars, Delina, Terus siapa tadi? Senpai. Rui.
Senpai?
Iya, ini siapa namanya Senpai gitu. Sampai jumpa di stream berikutnya. Bye bye. Otsu.
Bye bye. Otsukaresama deshita.
Otsukaresama deshita. Oyasumi nasai.